storm came fast. Winds screamed across the Antarctic base, shaking towers and slamming doors, but the shaking under the ground was worse. It didn't come from the sky, it came from deep below. Marcus stood alone in the snow, eyes locked. On the ice field ahead, the ground trembled again. Cracks formed across the white surface. The others shouted behind him, calling him back, but he didn't move. He knew this wasn't just weather. This was the ship, waking up. A sudden boom echoed through the valley, then the ice split wide open. Like a mouth gasping for air, a massive object pushed upward through the frozen ground. Slow and steady, it was shaped like a blade long. Sharp and wide, dark metal glistened. Under the storm clouds, blue lights blinked along its hull. Snow slid off its surface like it was shedding a skin. The entire research base fell silent. Scientists, soldiers, and workers stared in shock. What had they uncovered? What was this? A thing that moved on its own, with no engines, no smoke, no sound. Marcus stepped closer, heart pounding. The voice in his mind returned, calm and cold. "Peace Blade? Oblivion fully activated?" he whispered back. "Why now?" The voice answered. Operator contact confirmed. Protocol resumed. Sirens wailed across the base. Drones flew into the sky, watching the ship as it fully rose from the earth. It was larger than anyone expected, almost 800 meters long. Not just a weapon, not just a ship, it was something built for deep space war. But it wasn't broken. Its surface was untouched, its lights sharp and alive. No rust, no damage, no time. Worn edges, it was waiting. A military transport arrived hours later. Global Command had seen the energy spike and sent a special task force. Men in black armor and gray uniforms took over the site. No questions, no warnings, just orders. They tried to enter the ship. Every door stayed shut. They used drills, lasers, even explosives. Nothing worked. Then Marcus stepped forward. He didn't speak much, just raised his hand and touched the hull. The metal shimmered, and a ramp extended once more. Gasps echoed from the team. He turned to them and said quietly, "It only listens to me inside." The corridors lit up again. Soft blue glow guided them through a ship that felt half alive. Everything pulsed. Like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant, the control room recognized Marcus instantly. "Welcome." "Operator," the AI said. The soldiers stared at him, unsure if he was friend or threat, back at base. Scientists scrambled to understand what had happened. Energy levels were climbing. Electromagnetic signals pulsing across the planet. Satellites picked up strange waves coming from deep space. Someone, or something, was listening. A message arrived, not from Earth, from the stars. It was short but clear, a warning. Deactivate the Peace Blade, or be destroyed. The military leaders didn't believe it. They thought it was a trick, some rogue signal. But Marcus knew better. The ship had been hidden for a reason, buried for safety, not lost. He asked the AI what the message meant. The AI paused, then spoke. This vessel was part of a peacekeeping fleet during the First Galactic War. Its presence is forbidden in current political space. Its activation signals rebellion to the old enemy. Marcus didn't fully understand, but he felt the weight of it. Earth had just stepped into a story far bigger than itself. The ship wasn't just a tool, it was a signal, a flare in the darkness, telling the galaxy that Earth had awakened an old titan. The governments of Earth met in secret. They feared attack, feared the unknown. Some wanted the ship destroyed, others wanted to use it. But none could control it, not without Marcus, and Marcus only wanted answers. The ship began scanning Earth's defense systems, not to threaten, but to offer help. It mapped every satellite, every space station. Then it opened its flight core and lifted 5 feet off the ground. Without fire, without noise, just a hum soft and steady. It hovered above the ice like a god from old legends. People around the world watched from screens. Children, elders, soldiers. Scientists millions stared at the shape in the sky. Some prayed, some feared, others cried. They didn't understand it yet. But they all felt that something had changed. Force that didn't belong to Earth now listened to a single man. And the stars had noticed. The awakening was complete. The Titan had risen. The storm came fast. Winds screamed across the Antarctic base, shaking towers and slamming doors, but the shaking under the ground was worse. It didn't come from the sky. It came from deep below. Marcus stood alone in the snow, eyes locked. On the ice field ahead, the ground trembled again, and cracks formed across the white surface. The others shouted behind him, calling him back, but he didn't move. He knew this wasn't just weather. This was the ship waking up. A sudden boom echoed through the valley, then the ice split wide open. Like a mouth gasping for air, a massive object pushed upward through the frozen ground, slow and steady. It was shaped like a blade long, sharp and wide. Dark metal glistened. Under the storm clouds, blue lights blinked along its hull. Snow slid off its surface like it was shedding a skin. The entire research base fell silent. Scientists, soldiers, and workers stared in shock. What had they uncovered? What was this thing that moved on its own, with no engines, no smoke, no sound? Marcus stepped closer, heart pounding. The voice in his mind returned, calm and cold. Peace. Blade. Oblivion. Fully activated. He whispered back, "Why now?" The voice answered, "Operator contact confirmed. Protocol resumed." Sirens wailed across the base. Drones flew into the sky, watching the ship as it fully rose from the earth. It was larger than anyone expected, almost 800 meters long. Not just a weapon, not just a ship. It was something built for deep space war. But it wasn't broken. Its surface was untouched. Its lights sharp and alive. No rust, no damage, no time. Worn edges, it was waiting. A military transport arrived hours later. Global Command had seen the energy spike and sent a special task force. Men in black armor and gray uniforms took over the site. And no questions, no warnings, just orders. They tried to enter the ship. Every door stayed shut. They used drills, lasers, even explosives. Nothing worked. Then Marcus stepped forward. He didn't speak much, just raised his hand and touched the hull. The metal shimmered, and a ramp extended once more. Gasps echoed from the team. He turned to them and said quietly, "It only listens to me." Inside, the corridors lit up again. Soft blue glow guided them through a ship that felt half alive. Everything pulsed. Like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant, the control room recognized Marcus instantly. "Welcome." "Operator," the AI said. The soldiers stared at him, unsure if he was friend or threat, back at base. Scientists scrambled to understand what had happened. Energy levels were climbing. Electromagnetic signals pulsing across the planet. Satellites picked up strange waves coming from deep space. Someone or something was listening. A message arrived, not from Earth, from the stars. It was short but clear, a warning. Deactivate the Peace Blade or be destroyed. The military leaders didn't believe it. They thought it was a trick, some rogue signal. But Marcus knew better. The ship had been hidden for a reason, buried for safety, not lost. He asked the AI what the message meant. The AI paused, then spoke. This vessel was part of a peacekeeping fleet during the First Galactic War. Its presence is forbidden in current political space. Its activation signals rebellion to the old enemy. Marcus didn't fully understand, but he felt the weight of it. Earth had just stepped into a story far bigger than itself. The ship wasn't just a tool, it was a signal, a flare in the darkness, telling the galaxy that Earth had awakened. An old Titan, the governments of Earth met in secret. They feared attack, feared the unknown. Some wanted the ship destroyed, others wanted to use it. But none could control it, not without Marcus. And Marcus only wanted answers. The ship began scanning Earth's defense systems, not to threaten, but to offer help. It mapped every satellite, every space station. Then it opened its flight core and lifted 5 feet off the ground. Without fire, without noise, just a hum soft and steady. It hovered above the ice like a god from old legends. People around the world watched from screens. Children, elders, soldiers. Scientists millions stared at the shape in the sky. Some prayed, some feared, others cried. They didn't understand it yet, but they all felt that something had changed. A force that didn't belong to Earth now listened to a single man, and the stars had noticed. The awakening was complete. The Titan had risen. The world was no longer the same. News spread like wildfire. A starship had risen from Antarctica, massive, glowing, unstoppable. People called it the Titan. Others called it the Blade, but only one person knew its real name: Oblivion. Leaders from across the globe gathered behind closed doors. They met not in public, but through encrypted channels. The United Nations called it a global emergency. The military called it a threat, but some, deep in secret labs, called it humanity's last hope. Marcus sat in a quiet room beneath the ice, guarded by soldiers and machines. The air felt heavy, not from cold, but from responsibility. He didn't want power, didn't want to be famous. He only wanted to understand. Why him? Why now? A tall man in a black suit entered. "Mr. Vale," he said, "I'm General Stratton, Supreme Commander of Earth Defense." He didn't smile, didn't blink much. "We need you to give us control of the ship," he said firmly. Marcus looked at him and replied softly, "I can't. It only responds to me." The general didn't like that answer. He leaned forward. "Then we need you to follow orders." But the ship wasn't listening to orders. It was listening to intention. It chose Marcus because he wasn't a soldier, because he asked questions before pressing buttons. Back inside the ship, the AI spoke again. "Incoming threat detected, Zarnak. Dominion vessel scans active." Marcus didn't know who the Zarnak were. The AI showed him a star map, dozens of red dots closing in on Earth's location. "First contact possible in 10 Earth days," it said calmly. Earth had 10 days too. "Prepare." But how do you prepare a planet that has never faced war from the stars? How do you prepare a world still fighting over land, money, and old hate? Marcus sent out a message not from governments, but from himself. He spoke to the people. "My name is Marcus Vale," he said, standing beside the starship. "This is Oblivion, a ship not built by humans, but trusted to us now. An enemy is coming, and we must stand together, not as countries, but as Earth." The message went viral. People cried, argued, hoped, feared, but many believed him. Not because he was a hero, but because he was honest. Soon, teams from every major nation arrived. Scientists, engineers, linguists, pilots, even historians. They called themselves the Unity Crew. Together, they worked to understand the ship. It responded to them slowly, carefully, but only when Marcus gave permission. Inside the control room, they found star charts thousands of years old. Energy reactors that could power a city for centuries. Weapon systems locked behind strange code. But the AI told Marcus, "This ship adapts it, becomes what is needed." They began small upgrades using Earth tech, fusion cores, navigation, relays, communication uplinks. Oblivion didn't reject the changes. It learned from them. It changed, slowly, piece by piece, becoming more human. But while the crew worked, the politics grew worse. Many leaders feared Marcus, feared the ship. They didn't like that one man held the key. They sent spies, planted bugs, made threats. But Oblivion kept Marcus safe. Operator protection protocol active, the AI warned them. In space, strange satellites blinked to life's Zarnak scouts. Oblivion detected them easily. "They are watching," the AI said. "They remember this ship," Marcus asked. "What happened before?" The AI answered, "The Peace Blades ended a galactic war 12,000 years ago. Oblivion was the last built, the most dangerous. The Zarnak fear it." Marcus took a deep breath. "They should," he whispered, the Earth Council demanded. "Action. Launch it now," one leader said. "Hide it again," said another. "Let us control it." Marcus stood before them through a live broadcast. Didn't speak like a leader, but everyone listened. "I didn't ask for this," he said, "but it chose me. And I'll protect this world even if you won't." The ship lifted gently into the air, casting a giant shadow over the ice. The engines hummed without flame. Quiet and steady. For the first time, Oblivion flew into the sky. It pierced the clouds like a sword through mist. Cities watched in silence. Children pointed from rooftops. Veterans saluted. Some feared it. Others worshipped it. But all understood Earth had changed. It was no longer just a blue planet spinning alone. It had a guardian, a titan, a voice among the stars, and the universe was listening. The stars looked calm from Earth, but deep in space, beyond what humans could see, something moved. Something old, something violent, something that remembered the name Oblivion on board the ship. Marcus stood beside the central sphere, the AI's voice echoed softly, "Zarnak Dominion vessels detected in outer approach. Estimated time to Earth orbit. 5 Earth days." Marcus stared at the glowing display. Red dots blinking closer. 5 days, that's all they had. 5 days before an alien force arrived, not for peace, but for destruction. The Unity crew gathered around the control table. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, they all looked tense. "No response to our messages," said Dr. Lin, a language expert. "No attempt at communication," said Captain Reyes, the military advisor. "They're not coming to talk," Marcus said. "They're coming to erase a memory in the middle of the night." The message came. It wasn't sent to Earth's governments or the United Nations. It was sent directly to Oblivion. A deep voice filled the control room, speaking in a language not human. But the AI translated it word by word. "To the world that reactivates the Peace Blade, you hold a weapon built in. Defiance of the old order, its existence is forbidden. Deactivate the ship and return it to silence. Failure will bring total planetary cleansing." The room fell quiet. Even the soft hum of the ship seemed to pause. Marcus looked at the others. "They mean to wipe us out." Reyes slammed his fist on the table. "We don't even have a space fleet," he said. "We've never fought anything beyond the atmosphere, and we have 5 days, whispered Dr. Lin. The AI spoke again. "Peaceblade Oblivion was designed to fight enemy fleets alone. However, system integrity is in complete activation. Remains limited without full operator bonding." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "What does that mean, bonding?" The AI paused, then responded. "Oblivion does not obey commands. It forms trust with its operator. Only then can full power be used." Everyone turned to Marcus. The weight on his shoulders grew heavier by the second. The next day, the council tried to take control. They sent override signals, backdoor codes, military hacks. Nothing worked. Oblivion ignored them all, the AI announced clearly. "Command rejected, unauthorized access attempt detected. Earth councils may observe operator remains in full command." Marcus called for a global address. He didn't want fame, didn't want war. But people deserved to know the truth. He stood before a camera, face calm but eyes tired. "The galaxy is bigger than we ever imagined," he began, "and now it's looking at us. A powerful enemy is coming not because of what we've done, but because of what we've found. This ship, Oblivion, was built long ago to keep peace, and now peace is being threatened again. I will not run, and this ship will not hide. I ask for Earth's support, not to fight for power but to survive." Across the planet, reactions exploded. Some people panicked, others cheered. Many didn't know what to believe, but Marcus's words reached hearts in the following hours. Offers of help flooded in. Engineers from India, AI experts from Japan, shield specialists from Germany, even small nations sent their best minds to Antarctica. For the first time in history, Earth united for something bigger than flags. Inside the ship, the AI guided Marcus through training. It wasn't like flying a plane. It was like dancing with the mind of a giant. Every movement, every thought, every fear, it all mattered. Oblivion responded best when Marcus trusted it. The ship pulsed brighter when he stayed calm. When he panicked, it dimmed. It didn't want to pilot it, wanted a partner. They trained in silence, hours into days. Simulations of space combat, defense maneuvers, alien weapons. Oblivion taught. And Marcus learned. On the 3rd night, the warning came again. The same deep voice. "Now colder. Final warning. You have chosen defiance. Prepare for erasure." Oblivion's systems flared, shields charged, weapons warmed. Even Earth's space stations picked up strange signals. The enemy was near. From the sky, the stars twinkled as always. But now, Earth knew they were not alone, and something was coming through them. The countdown had begun. In 3 days, Earth would face its first true war in the stars. And all hope rested on a ship from the past, and a human who never asked to be chosen. Oblivion hovered above the Antarctic winds, silent and steady, like a guardian waiting at the gates. And far beyond the solar system, the Zarnok fleet flew. Fast and angry, the galaxy had warned Earth, but Earth wasn't kneeling. Earth was preparing. The countdown showed 2 days left, just 48 hours until the Zarnok ships arrived. Oblivion hovered silently over the frozen land, glowing like a sleeping beast. But inside it was wide awake. Marcus walked through the core chamber with Dr. Lin and Captain Reyes beside him. The Unity crew had grown. Over 200 of Earth's brightest minds were now working inside the ship. They came from different nations, spoke different languages, wore different flags, but here, under the alien lights, they were one team, one people, one goal. The AI's voice guided them. This vessel accepts compatible systems. Begin fusion with Earth technology. Marcus nodded. Then let's give it our best. Earth had never built a warship like this, because nothing like Oblivion had ever existed. But that didn't stop the humans from trying. In a giant chamber, engineers connected power conduits from Earth-built fusion cores. They worked in freezing temperatures and sleepless shifts. Electric sparks flew, machines hummed, voices echoed down metal halls. They mounted railgun towers at the top spine of the ship. Human weapons primitive compared to the ship's design, but the AI adapted. Railguns accepted reconfiguring magnetic flow, it said. The weapons became stronger, faster, more accurate. Scientists from Japan installed new communication systems. Now Oblivion could speak to every satellite, every city, every defense grid. Its reach expanded, not just across space, but across Earth. In the shield room, German specialists worked. Unlayering energy fields, Oblivion had its own shield systems, but they learned to thicken them. Protection increased by 17%. The AI confirmed every percentage mattered now. The crew lived inside the ship, slept in its silent halls. Ate in cargo bays. No one went home because the sky above Earth no longer felt safe. They were building more than just a warship. They were building a last stand in the neural chamber. Marcus sat alone, wires around his arms. The AI had begun the final step: deeper synchronization. It didn't just need a pilot, it needed a mind it could trust. The voice in his head was no longer just a sound, it was a presence watching, guiding, learning from him. Operator Marcus's emotional core detected fear present, but stable. The courage detected accepting full control pathways. Marcus breathed deeply as the ship's systems flowed through him. He wasn't just moving a ship, he was becoming part of it. The others noticed the change. Oblivion moved more smoothly now. When Marcus walked onto the bridge, lights turned on by themselves. Doors opened before he touched them. It responded to his heart, not just his voice. Reyes watched with quiet respect. "You're not just flying it," he said, "you're leading." Marcus didn't reply. He just looked at the screen showing the approaching fleet. Dots turning red as they crossed the edge of the solar system. The Earth Council sent one last message. "Should we surrender?" Some asked. Marcus answered simply, "We don't kneel to bullies." The Unity crew kept working. They installed sensor drones, cloaking fields, and emergency escape pods. Every bolt, every wire, every line of code was done with care. They weren't just fighting for survival. They were fighting for Earth's right to stand among the stars. Oblivion's final form was nearly complete. Its hull had changed. New armor from Earth's strongest metals reinforced its surface. Its color had darkened to a deep gunmetal gray, with glowing blue veins. Shape still looked like a blade, but now it had Earth's soul in every line inside. The control room. Marcus stood before the main interface. All systems sensed Oblivion ready, the AI confirmed. He closed his eyes. Feeling the quiet power around him, this wasn't just a ship anymore. It was a symbol. From orbit, the ISS watched the glowing Titan rise higher from the moon. Earth's colonies sent cheers and encrypted data. From every continent, people tuned in to live broadcasts. They didn't see fear anymore. They saw hope. A voice echoed from the Zarnok ships, now closer. "This is your final hour, stand down." Marcus smiled sadly, funny. He whispered, "I was just about to say that to you." Oblivion rose into the sky. Passing clouds like a shadow of steel, its engines didn't burn fire, they shimmered with deep blue light. Cities below watched as it climbed. Children pointed, elders cried, soldiers saluted. It was time, The blade had been reforged. The Titan had been reborn. Earth's first Star Destroyer was ready. The stars above Earth were no longer quiet. They shimmered with movement. Signals. Shadow's death was coming. 30 ships entered orbit, massive and cold. The Zarnok fleet arrived like a wall of fire and metal. They did not hide. They did not pause. Their message was simple: surrender or burn. Cities across the planet went silent. Satellites captured the enemy fleet, broadcasting it to every screen. Parents held their children close. Soldiers stood by useless cannons. Everyone stared upward, waiting for the end, or a miracle, and then oblivion rose. It broke through the last layer of Earth's clouds like a god awakening from a deep sleep. Its hull shimmered in steel-gray light, edges glowing with blue fire. It moved not like a machine, but like a living being. Graceful, patient, deadly, Marcus stood at the center of the ship's mind. His hands didn't touch controls. They floated. Near them, the ship responded to his thoughts. His breath, his calm, oblivion, and Marcus were one. Enemy fleet analysis complete, the AI said. Threat level high. Weapons online. Captain Reyes and Dr. Lin watched from the secondary command deck. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. The world's last hope was flying into the fire. The first blast came fast. A Zarnok cruiser opened fire with plasma cannons, green. Light cut through space, screaming toward oblivion. Marcus didn't flinch. Shield vector left. Rotate counter, he whispered. Oblivion spun. Shields flared. The blast bounced harmlessly off the side. Then the real fight began. 3 enemy ships surrounded Oblivion, trying to trap it. They fired again: lasers, torpedoes, magnet bursts. But Oblivion moved like wind through water. It danced between fire. Each movement sharp and clean. Marcus locked eyes with the largest ship. Focus fire center core, he said from the side of Oblivion. Earth-forged railguns roared. Massive shells flew at impossible speed. The enemy ship shook, then cracked, then exploded in silence. On Earth, cheers rose like waves. People screamed, cried, shouted the ship's name. It had drawn first blood, and it had not fallen, but the Zarnok were not afraid. They regrouped, formed a new line, and launched a full barrage. Oblivion's shields glowed bright blue. Energy absorbed and bent the blasts away. But some made it through. One blast hit the left engine bank. Marcus felt the burn in his chest. Pain not physical, but through the connection, he groaned. Drop to a knee, Marcus. Lin shouted over the comms. I'm fine, he said, forcing himself back up. Just stay with me. Damage minimal, the AI said. Do not fall. Epirito, your presence stabilizes core logic. Marcus wiped sweat from his face. Then let's finish this. Oblivion spun upside down. Released drones from its underbelly, small silver spheres glowing with plasma. They swarmed the enemy's left flank, releasing shockwaves and EMPs. The Zarnok ships twisted in confusion, blinded and panicked. Then Oblivion struck again. It fired its main cannon. A weapon no human had seen before. A beam of silent light. Thin as thread, cut through an entire ship from bow to stern. The enemy vessel cracked and half its engines burst, and it vanished in a wave of light. One by one, the fleet fell, but not without damage. Oblivion's shields dropped to 43%. Emergency systems triggered, hull breach on deck 12, but still it moved, still it fought, still it refused to fall. Then came the Zarnok command ship. Larger than all others, covered in spikes and dark armor, it had not fired yet. It was waiting. Marcus stared at it. He felt the presence inside, cold, old, hateful. That's the real leader, he said. Let's meet him. Oblivion and the Zarnok flagship circled in silence, then both fired at once. A beam of red and a beam of blue clashed in space. Energy crackled, gravity bent, stars flickered. The two ships collided, not physically but in force, in will. Marcus pushed with every breath, every thought. The AI pushed with him. 2 minds. 2 hearts. 1 goal. With a final cry, Marcus shouted, now. Oblivion fired everything: railguns, drones, pulse weapons, and one final blade of light. It tore through the Zarnok flagship. The command ship burst into fire, silence, nothing, and just like that. The battle was over. Space went quiet again. No more enemy signals. No more threats. Just floating wreckage and the shining shape of Earth's first star destroyer. Oblivion drifted slowly back toward Earth, its lights dimmed, its weapons powered down inside. Marcus collapsed in his chair, eyes closed, but he smiled. Yes, they had done it. Earth had survived. The stars above Earth were quiet again. The Zarnok fleet had been destroyed. Wreckage floated in orbit. Silent reminders of the war that almost was. Oblivion returned slowly. Its hull scarred but unbroken, its light softer now. It hovered once more above the ice of Antarctica, its home, its birthplace on Earth. And the entire world watched in silence. Then in celebration, cities rang with cheers, screens across every continent showed the ship descending through the clouds. Children painted it on walls, soldiers dropped their rifles and saluted the sky. Elders wept, mothers clutched babies with tears in their eyes. Earth had survived not because of armies, not because of weapons, but because one man had listened to a ship buried in ice. And that ship had chosen to fight beside humanity. Not for control, but for hope. Inside Oblivion, Marcus sat quietly. He looked tired, his eyes heavy, his body sore, but he smiled. He didn't feel like a hero. He felt human. Dr. Lin entered the chamber with Captain Reyes. "You should rest," Lin said gently. Marcus shook his head. "I will, after this." The AI's voice echoed softly. Galactic signal received in hostile. Marcus leaned forward, put it on. A hologram filled the room, showing a creature with gold skin. Tall and ancient, it spoke slowly to the people of Earth. It said, "We are the Illyrian Council Watchers of the Inner Stars. We witnessed your battle. We saw the fall of the Zarnok fleet. You have awakened a forgotten force, and now the galaxy knows your name." Marcus blinked, unsure what to say. The voice continued, "You are no longer hidden. Others will come, some as friends, others as enemies, but today, Earth stands among the stars." The message ended. Silence returned. No threats this time. No weapons, just acknowledgement. Oblivion's AI spoke next. "Earth has been marked as a recognized independent system. Galactic entry pending recommendation. Prepared diplomatic response." Reyes looked at Marcus and grinned. "You just made Earth a galactic power." Marcus exhaled slowly. "I didn't want to," he said, "but maybe it's time." Weeks passed. Oblivion was no longer feared but studied, respected, even honored. The Unity crew stayed together. Now working on building a second ship, this time one designed by both human minds and alien blueprints. Leaders from every country signed the Earth Unity Accord. Ow! Borders still existed, but above them was a banner with a new name. Earth Fleet Command. Oblivion became the flagship. Its story became legend. Taught in schools, drawn in books, carved into walls, Marcus Vale was called many names: operator, commander, guardian. But he didn't like titles. He liked silence. The stars and the hum of the ship beneath his feet. He still walked the corridors of Oblivion, alone at times. Sometimes the AI would speak. "Operator Marcus, do you wish to retire?" He would always reply, "Not yet," because he knew it wasn't over. Victory was not the end. It was the beginning. One day, he stood at the edge of the observation deck. The sky was full of stars, but one pulsed brighter. "Is that a ship?" he asked. "Unknown origin, not hostile. Signal and route," the AI answered. The message came in soft tones. "We come in peace, Earth. We heard your roar through the dark. We'd like to meet the one called Marcus Vale." Marcus smiled. He touched the edge of the console. "Tell them they're welcome," he said. "Tell them Earth has a seat at the table now." And so Earth's name was written in the stars. Not with blood, but with courage. Not with conquest, but with heart. The ship that should never have existed became the blade that opened a new future. And its operator, the quiet man who once walked on frozen ice, became a bridge between worlds. The story of Earth's first star destroyer was complete, but the story of Earth itself was just beginning.